last time you saw these guys, we were about 2 weeks in, and I had one separated and placed in my raised bed at the front of my apartment. Now, by week 3, these guys were truly taking off. The ones in the bucket were looking so healthy, really lovely leaves, and they were going according to plan. So still no pumpkin from the ones in the bucket, but they are stretching out nicely. The one at the front was taking off as well. I mean, this guy was really stretching out. Also, I noticed that it started to produce female fruits. However, my problem at that time was that the male flowers weren't opening at the same time that the female flowers were, and as such I lost a couple female fruit because there was no male flowers to pollinate it. Week 7 and still no signs of flowers from the ones at the back. They were stretching out, but they were looking very limp and losing a lot of leaves and very sparse looking. So I decided to give it some trim, prune it a little bit, get rid of some of these loose vines that have been coming out of the bucket in hopes of having it to just focus its energy on the main vine and possibly push out some flowers. Okay guys, so this is what I've been dealing with for the past 2 weeks. I've lost 2 female pumpkin flowers because the male and the females aren't opening on time or in sync with each other. So right now we have this female flower and she's open, ready to be pollinated. I'm going to try and save her by using this old male flower here that was open yesterday. So let's see if this will work. I don't see any other open flower. It's really just this. So let's see this guy. So I'm just gonna try a thing. This and this was open, so I'm gonna cut them and try. And this is the male sex organ of the flower, and I'm going to open the other one. This is just an attempt. I don't know if it's going to work. I hope so. Last time I was too late, the other female. Alright, so this thing here is where all the pollen, the stamen is where all the pollen is on, you see, on my finger.
pollen. I'm not going to waste it. Pollen is in there. All of this is pollen. This is what I'm going to try and do to save this little lady. I'm going to artificially inseminate. All I'm going to do is just rub pollen all over her. Gonna do the same thing with this one. Rub the pollen off. That should be it. Well guys, it is safe to say that I was able to successfully pollinate this female right here. The flower has fallen off and we now have a growing pumpkin. I also found 2 additional female coming along. So I'm hoping that I will have males when these girls are open. So those are my 2 additional females.
By the following week, I decided to do some pruning at this guy at the front here because I have a small space in which I have it growing and I have to keep it contained. So these offshoots that you see me looking at here, I am just going to give them a quick snip. And what I normally do before I snip them too is check if I see any female pumpkin on it. If I see any female pumpkin flower, I normally leave it alone. But all I do is find where these offshoots are, check them, and just give it a snip as close as possible to the main vine. And that is how you prune your pumpkin plant. You can prune it, you can keep it in control. I know and hear a lot of people saying, wow, you're growing pumpkin that growing all over the place, but for me, I just kept it in check by pruning it like every other day. A couple days later, guys, and I am dropping female fruits like crazy. The same problem. They're not opening on time. The male one's not opening on time. And I'm just dropping fruits like crazy. I was really bummed and I didn't know what to do. The one that I tried to save, I still lost it. I think the male flowers that were closed were just, I don't know, it just did not work. However, the following week, I saw another female flower open and I was able to use the male flowers that I saw open at the time to do this hand pollination. So I tried it again. I wasn't about to give up on my babies. FYI guys, you can identify the female flower by looking for a fruit at the base while the male does not have any. Another thing that I did differently for this second attempt at hand pollination was to tie the female flower shut. Now, this is something that I realized that other farmers did while I was doing my research, and this prevents other insects such as bees or whatever else crawls inside the flower from removing the pollen before this pollination actually occurs. So I said I would try it this time to see if this makes a difference. The following week, and the pumpkins at the back are still not doing any better. I think one of the mistakes I made was to put two pumpkins inside one bucket. The next time I attempt this, I'm going to use one bucket per pumpkin because I don't think it was getting enough nutrients, because both pumpkins are inside the bucket fighting for nutrients. And even though I gave it a lot of fertilizer, liquid fertilizer, slow release fertilizer, it didn't really do much for it. And that's the biggest mistake I made. I still continue to prune it, and it just didn't produce any fruit at all, but I was still trying to hang on to it. Again, pruning the offshoots that you see there in the hopes of having some kind of flower production. I am proud to say that my second attempt at hand pollination was a success, guys. I mean, these pictures were taken literally days apart, and my little bulb just took off. One thing happened was that I noticed a little crack on it, and I easily mended that by using Kango wax. Now, if you want to see the details of how I did it, just click the link in my bio and it will lead you to that video. But I kid you not, guys, these pictures days apart, I'm not joking around. I was so excited to see this pumpkin grow. So that crack that I showed you earlier, guys, as I said, just click the link in my bio. It's a quick video just showing you how I mended the crack using candle wax, and this is just to show you how it looked after it was still growing, still blowing up, and the crack was sealed and okay. So just click the link in my bio and you will see that. The next couple of weeks have just been steady growth for this guy with nothing major to report. The umbrella leaves are the two leaves closest to the pumpkin. They're still green. The two tendrils that are closest to the pumpkin, and these are the tendrils right there. they're still green. So those two things are telltale signs that the pumpkin is not ready for cutting. Once those start to dry, the leaves start to dry over, then the pumpkin is ready to cut. So I will leave that for another video, guys. So thank you for bearing with me, and I will see you in the next video. But I'm cutting this, guys. See you later, guys.